check your bank account. Not empty, not struggling, just fine. You paid your bills, saved a little, didn't do anything reckless. So why does it feel like nothing is changing? You're doing what you're supposed to do, spending responsibly, avoiding risk, staying in control. But something doesn't add up, because the problem isn't what you're losing. It's what your money is silently failing to become. And that's harder to see, harder to measure, harder to admit. So you keep going, same habits, same decisions, hoping one day it just works. But here's the part no one tells you. Some of the most responsible financial behaviors don't protect your income. They slowly erase its future. And if that's true, then what are you actually building? You're at 10, the comfort spending loop. You don't spend recklessly. That's not you. You just smooth things out. A better meal, a quick upgrade, something small after a long day. Nothing extreme. That's what makes it invisible, because it doesn't feel like loss. It feels like relief. But here's where it shifts. Relief becomes routine. Routine becomes baseline. And suddenly, your normal costs more than it used to. Not dramatically, just enough, just quietly. And now your income isn't growing your future. It's maintaining your comfort. And here's the uncomfortable part. You're not buying things. You're buying a version of your day that feels slightly easier to tolerate. Which means, if your income stopped growing, you wouldn't just lose money. You'd lose your lifestyle. And that dependence? That's where it starts to tighten. So the question changes. Are you spending to enjoy life, or to avoid noticing something is missing? 39. The subscription drift. You don't notice it happen. That's the point. One subscription becomes 3. 3 becomes 7. Streaming, tools, apps. Each one justified, each one small, each one harmless, until you stop counting. Because you don't feel the impact all at once. You feel it slowly. Less flexibility, less room, less movement. But here's where it gets dangerous. These aren't just expenses, they're locked decisions. Every month, your past choices keep charging your present, and you don't question them, because canceling feels like losing something, even if you barely use it. So you keep paying, not because you need them, but because they've become part of your identity. This is just what I use. And now your income isn't flowing. It's pre-assigned, before you even touch it, which means you're not deciding how to use your money anymore. You're honoring decisions you don't even remember making. And that leads to a deeper question. How much of your income is actually yours? The rate, the I earned this justification. You worked for it, so you deserve it. That's the logic, and it feels right. After all, what's the point of earning if you don't enjoy it? But this is where it bends. Because I earned this becomes a permission slip, not for big mistakes, but for repeated ones, small rewards, frequent resets, tiny indulgences that stack over time. And here's the shift. You stop evaluating decisions. You start validating them. And once that happens, there's no friction left, no resistance, no pause, just action. Spend, feel better, repeat. But what you're actually doing is converting effort into temporary relief, over and over again, which means your income isn't building anything lasting. It's dissolving into moments. And here's the question that lingers. If every reward disappears, what was the work actually for? 7. The lifestyle sink trap. Your income increases, so your life adjusts. Naturally, better place, better things, better standards. It makes sense. You've earned it. But something subtle happens here. Your expenses start syncing with your income, not accidentally, automatically. And now, every raise you get is already spoken for, before you even receive it. Which means, you're not getting ahead. You're just upgrading your baseline. And this is where the illusion deepens. Because externally, it looks like progress. But internally, nothing changes. Same pressure, same dependence, same need to keep earning. And here's the uncomfortable realization. Your lifestyle isn't reflecting your success. It's absorbing it. So the question becomes, if your income doubled tomorrow, would your freedom change? Or just your expenses? 6. The invisible time trade. You don't think in hours anymore. You think in money. This costs $50. That's $200. Seems logical, until you reverse it. That $50. It's hours of your life. That $200. Days. But here's the disconnect. You don't feel that when you spend, because money is abstract. Time isn't. And when you disconnect the two, spending becomes easier, faster, looser, less real. But here's where it sharpens. You're not just spending money. You're spending time you already gave away. And once it's gone, you can't earn it back. So every purchase becomes something deeper. A trade, not between money and objects, but between time and outcomes. And if those outcomes don't last, then what did your time become? 5. The midpoint break. This was never about money. Pause. Because this is where it shifts. This was never about subscriptions, or spending, or small mistakes. It's about something deeper. The version of you that keeps choosing comfort over growth, quietly, consistently, without noticing, because none of this feels wrong. That's the trap. It feels responsible, stable, controlled. But look closer. You're not optimizing your income. You're protecting your current life, even if that life isn't moving forward. And here's the break. You're not stuck because you lack money. You're stuck because your decisions are designed to avoid change. Again, and again, and again. So now the question isn't, how do you fix your spending? It's, why does staying the same feel safer than growing? 4. The false progress illusion. You save money. That's good. You invest a little. Also good. You feel like you're doing something. And technically you are. But here's the problem. It feels like progress, even when it's not enough to change anything. And that feeling becomes dangerous because it removes urgency. You stop questioning pace. You stop measuring trajectory. You just continue. And here's where it breaks. Years pass. Effort accumulates. But outcomes stay small. Not because you failed, but because you never challenged the scale. So your income isn't being wasted through mistakes. It's being wasted through underperformance. And the worst part, it feels like success, so you don't fix it. And now the question deepens. How long have you been moving without actually going anywhere? 3. The deferred life pattern. You tell yourself, later. I'll enjoy it later. I'll fix it later. I'll focus on growth later. Right now, you're busy, stabilizing, managing, maintaining. It feels temporary, but it never ends because later keeps moving. And your income? It gets used up in the present. Every month, every cycle. Never redirected, never intensified, just consumed. And here's the spike. You're not delaying gratification. You're delaying your entire life without realizing it because nothing changes. The system continues. And now the question hits harder. If you keep waiting, what exactly are you waiting for? 2. The safety illusion. You avoid risk. That's smart. You stay stable. That's responsible. You don't make extreme moves. That feels safe. But here's the contradiction. Safety over time becomes its own risk. Because while you protect your downside, you erase your upside. No leaps, no acceleration, no meaningful change, just slow movement and slower realization. And this is where it turns. You're not avoiding loss. You're locking in limitation. Your income stays within boundaries. Your life stays within boundaries. Everything becomes predictable. And here's the spike. You didn't build security. You built a system that prevents growth. And now the final question emerges. If nothing goes wrong, will anything ever go right? 1. The opportunity cost you never see. This is the one that matters, because it's the one you never feel. You didn't lose money. You didn't make a mistake. You didn't fail. You just didn't do something. Didn't invest differently. Didn't act earlier. Didn't push harder. And that absence? It compounds, quietly, relentlessly. Years of almost. Years of later. Years of good enough. And here's the reality. Your income wasn't wasted in what you spent. It was wasted in what it never became. And you can't track that. You can't see it. But it's there. In the life you could have built. In the freedom you almost had. In the version of you that never showed up. And this is the final spike. You're not behind because you made bad decisions. You're behind because you made safe ones for too long. So now you see it. Not one big mistake. Not one obvious failure. Just a pattern. A system. A quiet loop that keeps your income contained. And the worst part, it works. That's why you stayed in it. It pays your bills, keeps things stable, avoids disaster, but it never creates escape. And that's the difference. Because money isn't just about survival, it's about direction. And right now, your direction is controlled by habits you never questioned. But this isn't the deepest layer, because what you do with your income is only part of the system. The real question is what you choose to believe about money in the first place. And that's where it gets dangerous. Because some of the most trusted investments are quietly doing the same thing, keeping you safe while keeping you stuck. But that's a different layer. One most people never even look at. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.